Good morning. I'm Mark Allen with Gaber.io, and I'm here today with Chris Van Dyke, the CEO of Overview AI. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
It's good. Can you share a brief background of yourself and your work experience?
Sure. I was a mechanical engineer undergrad, and I worked at a hardware startup on the East Coast for about 5 years afterwards. And then in 2010, I joined Tesla when it was under 500 people.
Hmm.
I worked on the charging stations there for a long time, and then the design and kind of engineering behind the Gigafactory facility, and then working on manufacturing within the facility. And so then a colleague of mine and I left Tesla to start Overview, which is a manufacturing technology startup.
Cool. And did you work at the Tesla plant in Fremont or in the corporate office in Palo Alto?
I primarily in the corporate office. I spent a lot of time in the Fremont factory, and then I actually traveled to Reno a lot during the early days of the Gigafactory as well.
Ah, cool. Very interesting. So what has been your experience with remote employment, both as an employee and an employer?
Um, so you want me to focus previous to the pandemic
Previous,
and then
yes.
kind of transition into the post-pandemic?
Sure.
Yeah. So, um, I started this company about a year and a half ago and wanted to start it in San Francisco because there's a host of, a group of kind of talented people, and having engineers in the same place is really important. But San Francisco is also incredibly expensive. So basically anything that wasn't kind of core to the, um, you know, main technology that we were trying to derive value from, we tried to find outside remote help for, and that would either be sometimes kind of periodic contractors or contractors we have a longer term relationship with, but that we really did want to kind of incorporate into the team. So, we've been sort of trying to use remote employment in a lot of ways from the beginning, especially in parts of our technology stack that isn't as crucial to the kind of, core value of our company.
Very interesting. So what was your takeaway from these experiences?
It can work pretty well,
Mhm.
especially if you focus on it. We have a hardware element to our company, so there's some
Mhm.
parts that just really do have to kind of happen together in the same place. And um, I think going into this, I was sort of skeptical that anything remote could kind of match the productivity and sort of maybe value you get from being together. But it's gone maybe better than I expected, and now with the pandemic, it's sort of pushed into like a whole new world of trying to make things work remotely. So, I think coming out of this, I probably will think about it a little differently than I did before.
Yeah. And do you do manufacturing in the Bay Area or somewhere else?
What's that?
Do you do your manufacturing in the Bay Area or is it somewhere else?
Uh, we we manufacture our own stuff right now. I mean, it's very low volume. We make these custom sensors that then go into factories. So our customers are all over. I mean, that's another kind of aspect of our company is that our product is sort of a remote product. We help factories kind of run more autonomously by using our cameras and our sensors. They're able to then get information, you know, from outside of their own factories. So that's another thing that kind of actually like lends itself to our own remote nature is the fact that we interact with our customers through a remote interface a lot of times.
Hmm.
Um, but it's sort of like the lab and the kind of like core technology development office that is in the Bay Area, and that's where it really makes sense for engineers to kind of be together, hands on.
Hmm.
But a lot of the like web interface and the kind of even some of the not the software heavier parts of the product can be done by people all over the world
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. So what do you think is the future of remote employment and what do you think can be done differently to make it more effective?
um yeah, I mean, I think this is a push towards it. The pandemic that is kind of forced, at least my sort of narrow experience, is it forced us to do more of it and kind of like see the results. There are definite benefits in terms of being able to take advantage of different labor costs and kind of being able to, specialties all over the world. So there's certainly like a high value and kind of giving people, more choice themselves into where they get to live and where they in ability to travel and things like that. So I think there are definitely benefits, and it seems clear that this will push, at least my company towards that more. I don't think we're going to go entirely remote again, because we sort of have this kind of core need to do stuff together in a hands-on way. But it's definitely like kind of, I think, made it more realistic to do more stuff remote than I think we even thought we could do before.
Yeah, and I think it actually was trending upward anyway, remote work in general, and I think this
yeah,
it expedited
definitely.
it.
Yeah.
So what is the story behind Overview AI? What is the actual product you manufacture? Who are your potential customers, things like that?
Yeah, so like I said, it was founded by a colleague of mine and I from Tesla, where we were kind of doing a lot of high-tech stuff in manufacturing, and we decided that we wanted to do that a little more broadly, and saw the set of products that people doing manufacturing could buy as sort of lagging some of the other products that kind of come out of Silicon Valley. So we use computer vision to kind of watch manufacturing scenes and look for errors and help kind of shut things down if things start to go wrong. And that allows factories to run more autonomously and with more data and kind of more connectivity. And so our customers are all over the US currently. We eventually may go broader, but right now there's a lot of factories in the US that kind of can benefit from this. And yeah, we install these cameras and then kind of get their systems up and running remotely.
Interesting. Do you concentrate on the actual employees with your cameras, or you concentrate on the product, or both?
So we primarily watch the product, but we'll also watch a piece of equipment occasionally. It's something where there's like a repeated thing that happens over and over again. We can sort of learn that and recognize the context, and then see if something sort of out of the ordinary happens.
Okay, so it's kind of like a proactive monitoring, that you see something slightly different, so address it now before it does an actual shutdown?
Yeah. Or
Very
damages the product, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. So how did you incorporate the idea of remote at your company? This, before the pandemic, because you had to at the once the pandemic.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it was sort of what I kind of was saying before, where we, wanted to have some of the core skills and stuff be people based here, but then there's a lot of stuff that's part of our product that is just it doesn't need to be like incredibly innovative and more maybe straightforward, and that stuff we've been having people kind of all over the world basically work on. But because we've also wanted to, we haven't tried to do that facelessly. We sort of tried to do that where we've gotten to know the people and worked with them a little more directly.
Very interesting. So the current situation, the pandemic forced everybody to go remote. It was on March 16th in the Bay Area. Did that cause any major roadblocks or challenges that you didn't expect?
Yeah, I mean, I think there wasn't anything super unexpected. It did cause problems. And then, some of them are maybe associated with remote, and then some of them are more just kind of like the general economic consequences. Some customers have slowed down and things like that. But one big change is that we used to go to every factory where we would do an installation. And that was kind of a nice way to connect with the customer and stuff. But now we've been doing it all by mail. We mail them things, and it's kind of forced us to be a little kind of cleaner in in our installation guidelines and things like that. And, in some ways it's not as nice from a
Mhm.
kind of high touch customer point of view, but it is actually like, cheaper to do that because you don't have to travel. And
Mhm.
so we had thought we might go to more mail, um, kind of like a mailing model down the road, but much later than we've had to this time, than we've had to because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, so then we haven't totally decided if we'll switch back when the pandemic ends, or when it's safe to travel again. But yeah, for now it's been working pretty well.
Well, that's great. That's great to know that you're still, business kind of as usual, right? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
cool. And there's companies like Gaper that help develop, build, and scale products. We don't really apply to what you do from the manufacturing standpoint, but from the development and software development, we do. How important do you think this will be going forward for companies like yourself that need, quality software engineers, and they need them fast?
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of part of the same trend where you want to keep the core, high value thing that your company can do that other people can't do. You want to keep that in house and get that really good, but kind of everything else you can have other people help with, and and especially if you can scale that stuff up and down quickly, and I think that the kind of what um, other people can help with is really broadening, and there's just more and more tools and services like yours that can quickly make like a partner, a product be as useful as an in-house employee. And it sort of started small, 10 years ago or even more, and now it's just like more and more stuff can kind of seamlessly fit. And so you can then continue to focus on your own core innovation, but hand off more and more of the stuff you're doing.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, well, Chris, I want to thank you for your time today. It's very informative, and I wish you have a great day.
All right, thanks.